fire, 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 fire.
Cocaine submarine, how exciting.
This is a Narco submarine.
A what?
A stealth marine vehicle designed to transport drugs from South America to the US, and sometimes even Europe.
Whoa.
Over the last decade, authorities have caught over 200 of these, but there are many more out there. Today, we will take a look at 4 different models, ranging from simple all the way to transatlantic high-tech.
They all look like
How do these
peepees,
submarines
Shan.
work? How do they avoid detection? And what does the Coast Guard do to catch them?
Whoa.
There are many ways to smuggle cocaine into the high-profit markets of the US and Europe. Each year, authorities seize
One of those ways is to shove them up your butt like balloons, or eat them like balloons and then hope they don't explode. Don't ask me how I know.
several hundred tons of
Hey, swallow
cocaine
them in
before it
balloons.
reaches the streets, and many more tons get past them. In this game of cat and mouse, cartels constantly come up with
Cocaine.
new ways to deliver their product. At first, narco subs were made for short trips, but over time their production was professionalized. A hidden industry began to flourish.
Yeah, drugs.
This is Oscar Moreno Ricardo. Colombian authorities named him the king of semi-submersibles. Here, deep in the dense Colombian jungle, hidden along a river, he operates a clandestine shipyard, far beyond the reach of authorities.
Yeah.
In places like this one, Ricardo and his competitors build submarines. They can travel thousands of miles across the ocean, carrying tons of cocaine.
Dude, I know, like, drugs and stuff, like, bad, but that is so cool. That's neat! Like, the human will to be like, alright, I'm building a submarine so I can smuggle drugs.
These narco submarines are designed to remain hidden, but there are rare moments when we get a glimpse into their world. H.I. Sutton studies the craft of Ricardo and the others. He has dedicated his career to uncovering their secrets.
Cool!
He's a specialist in
Oh, he, like, makes videos?
defense analysis and unconventional naval warfare.
I've been looking at narco submarines for about 15 years and keeping a database of all the incidents of narco submarines. And
This guy has a specialized type of very interesting, like, subgenre of collecting narco submarines. Imagine you're in a date with this guy, and he's like, and you're like, oh, what do you do? Like, what do you think is, like, interesting? And he's like, I study submarines filled with drugs. Whoa. It's like his model trade sets. Yeah, it's like a little type of, like, little interest autism. He has a hyperfixation on it. Yeah.
analyzing their designs and the trends that are evolving in that space.
Now, let's dive into our first sub.
Ooh, dive in, get it? Haha.
This is a very typical narco submarine. They started to appear like this in the late 2000s and they're still being found today.
Ooh.
It's roughly 14 meters in length and not a true submarine. Rather, it's a so-called low-profile vessel. The top remains visible above the waterline. Its color blends in with the sea. Due to its low height, radar systems have a hard time detecting it. Currently, it is en route to Central America.
That's neat.
Inside,
Because real submarines, to build them yourself without, like, heavy military equipment, and just generally from, like, a factory... Like, even if you got a factory to produce steel, and then, I don't know, I mean, maybe not out of steel, I don't know how submarines are made, making that kind of thing and then being able to dive underwater, I feel like that would be pretty difficult, no? No, it's actually pretty easy, but like, diving underwater and, like, the pressure, like, you need to, like... No buts? Oh, okay, I guess I'm a stupid one, but I don't know.
the cramped vessel, 5 men sit in tense silence.
These ones don't go deep, but real submarines do. Yeah.
Every so often, the low hum of the diesel engine pulses through the hull as it pushes them forward at 16 kilometers per hour. The sub is divided into 3 compartments. This middle is the crew area. It's sparse and uncomfortable. Bunks crammed tightly together, a single hatch above for entry. Here at the rear, the diesel engine roars, vibrating against the thin fiberglass walls. It is located behind the crew compartment so they can access it to do repairs. Up front, the cargo hold is tightly packed with bags of cocaine. 7.7.
Imagine farting in one of these. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. Ew! You have to like open it and then you get caught because you're trying to air it out. Open the hatch. Yeah, but what if you're getting followed? Like, that's like a risk.
Tons, to be precise.
Would you rather sniff the farts or risk getting put in jail for life? Come on.
The crew uses the weight of the drugs, fuel, and engine to keep the vessel low in the water. The cargo on board will earn the cartel a hefty sum, if the sub reaches its destination. A Marine patrol aircraft spots the Narco submarine and immediately alerts the US Coast Guard. Right now, they are operating in international waters. 2 small boats and a helicopter race to intercept the vessel. Once within range, Coast Guard officers jump onto the ship and give the door a friendly knock.
Yeah, friendly!
They capture the 5 smugglers along with the cocaine, valued at well over $200 million. If law enforcement had not acted so decisively, the smugglers could have opened the scuttling valve, a last resort mechanism that floods the sub and sends it plunging to the ocean floor, along with all its evidence. This crew had a relatively short journey. Others travel half across the world.
That's insane, man.
While narco subs are obviously used for organized crime, their engineering and the ingenuity behind their design are undeniably remarkable. If you ever wanted to build your own skills in these areas, on the right side of the law of course, Brilliant is a great place to start. Their interactive lessons make it easy to learn new skills, whether it's physics, math, programming, or artificial intelligence. Every lesson is engaging and playful. You can customize the content and work through the exercises and problems at your own pace. Take a short quiz when you sign up and you'll get content that matches your personal skill level and interests. With Brilliant's science lessons, you'll explore the physics of everyday life and dive deeper into the principles that submarines rely on. Scan this QR code or visit brilliant.org/fern to try Brilliant for free for a full 30 days. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Start developing new skills today. A different part of the Amazon. A Narco vessel departs near Manaus in Brazil and is making its way to Macapa, the Amazon's mouth. The semi-sub is over 20 meters long and nicknamed Che. Inside Che sit 3 men. Agustin Alvarez, a former Spanish boxer and captain of the vessel, and 2 Ecuadorian men. They are about to cross the Atlantic, traveling at around 19 kilometers per hour.
That's terrifying, man. In the middle of brimfrick nowhere in the ocean, you die.
Per hour, they will cover roughly 6,500 kilometers from the Brazilian rainforest all the way to Europe, with no GPS and only a compass.
I was about to say, they can't have GPS because then the aircraft above that like scans for stuff, you can't have that because it'll ping it. Only a compass? Yeah, they know they're probably gonna die.
Has to guide their way. It will take them about 2 weeks to reach their destination, if all goes according to plan.
2 weeks, man. Where do you shit and piss?
This Narco sub is very similar to our first one, but it is more modern and larger. It also has 3 compartments.
You've got the engine in the back, the crew in the middle, and the cargo bay.
Nearly half the sub's size is reserved for fuel. 3 massive tanks holding 20,000 liters, ensuring the vessel can make the long journey.
Wow.
The men have no proper beds and use plastic bags as toilets.
Oh my god. I don't know, man. That's disgusting. Imagine the smell. What, you can't even like throw it out overboard or something?
For food, they have the choice between energy bars, rice, or cans of soy.
Oh, energy bar shits. Ew! Chat!
sardines. There's only one proper seat, so 2 men must lie down at all times.
Oh my gosh.
The men endured 3 storms and almost hit a larger ship on the way, but finally managed to cross the Atlantic. But well, luck is not on their side. After 27 days, the sub runs out of fuel. The journey took twice as long as planned. Because of the
So
conditions
4
at sea, they
weeks?
can't deliver the drugs to another vessel. 2 attempts to meet with cartel boats fail. As a last resort, Alvarez contacts old friends from his hometown Vigo and hopes to get help from them to unload the cocaine. But this also fails. So they travel near the coast of Galicia and sink the vessel. Afterwards, the crew wants to flee, but law enforcement has already spotted them. The EU's Maritime Analysis and Operations Center has notified Spain that a suspicious vessel is heading for their coast. They watched them using night vision goggles and observed their arrival in Galicia. Officials arrest the 2 Ecuadorian men shortly after the sinking. Alvarez can flee. He hides nearby in an abandoned house for 5 days and then finally gets arrested.
Caught.
Spanish police refloat and confiscate the sunken submarine. They find 3 tons of cocaine, worth around $100 million. Every time one of these gets caught, a cartel loses a lot of money. Reason enough to innovate.
Ooh. That's the scary part about criminals. If they even get caught once, they'll just replace those henchmen with new henchmen to sacrifice and try and innovate. Do better. That's what I'm gonna do to my smugglers.
At first glance, this just looks like a real submarine.
Wow.
It has the typical cylindrical shape and is around 24 meters long. This build can almost fully submerge. Only a snorkel protrudes from its top, allowing the vessel to breathe, drawing in air to cool its diesel engine and provide fresh oxygen for the crew.
Oh.
It also gives the vessel its name, the Snorkel sub.
What if you fart in it? Wouldn't you kill people in there? Like you just take a massive fart and go.
Like most real submarines or most naval submarines, is not built out of steel or metal, it's built out of fiberglass.
A diesel engine powers the sub, while an onboard generator provides electricity for various systems, including a camera mounted atop the snorkel. So they always have an idea of what's around them when they are underwater. Ballast tanks allow it to take in water and dive deeper when danger is spotted. The interior feels cramped, yet sophisticated.
Okay,
There's
there's
a basic
a
toilet and a sink. Small luxury
It's right where you sleep though, so if you have really bad diarrhea, everyone smells it. But you know, it's better than packing your shit on a little bag.
that make long journeys more bearable for the crew. The Snorkel sub can haul up to 8 tons of cocaine, carrying its illicit cargo thousands of kilometers from Colombia to destinations like Mexico
Colombia.
or beyond.
So far, not a single one of these has ever been caught at sea. But we know they keep building them because the ones that we have got like this have always been captured on land. So
Holy.
we can infer from
That's
that they must be very
cool.
successful.
And that makes sense. Patrol aircraft will have a much harder time spotting this sub. Through its camera system, it can maneuver around and evade Coast Guard ships with much greater finesse.
That's neat.
The fact that such a complex machine gets built in a jungle in the middle of nowhere is remarkable.
Oh, it's so sad. I've read stories where they kidnap engineers from factories that work like normal jobs, and they put a gun to their head and said, if you want to see your family again, you better build this, and they have to figure it out. And there was a story of 2 men getting kidnapped, and they had to communicate in different languages because they have different accents and sub-dialects in different countries in South America, so they didn't have the most amazing communication, and they just have a guy yelling at them that you're gonna fucking die if you don't build this shit. It's horrible.
These shipyards are far from traditional supply
I
chains
forget
or
where it
modern
was, though, but
facilities.
it's a true story.
Narco submarines are designed and the construction is overseen by master builders. These are artisans.
Yeah, like Tony Stark.
Very
Yeah, it's a real
technically
story.
proficient.
It's true.
They're impressive designs in the sense that while they might look very shoddy and miniature, they really are the perfect example of the minimum viable product.
These subs need to be good enough to reliably transport extremely expensive cargo
needs that
thousands of
fucking
miles. But at the
cocaine.
same time, they have to be built with very basic materials. Not many people are capable of doing that.
These master builders, there's only so many of them. And we can tell that because each designer, if you like, has signature.
You're misunderstanding me, chat. I don't mean military grade. Like, I think that it's scary to go into one of these and think that it's not gonna, like, explode. You make one mistake, one of the materials is, like, gonna flop off. I don't know. I mean from, like, a logistical standpoint. It'd be scary to, like, think about going in there.
They have certain ways of solving problems that reveal themselves in the designs.
Military grade's
And
not
one
that
of
good.
these builders far outshines the rest.
Okay. I don't fucking know.
In November
Whoa!
2020, law enforcement stumbled upon something extraordinary in the Colombian jungle.
What is that thing?
A fully submersible, 12-meter-long Narco submarine. There's no fuel storage and no diesel engine in the back. Instead, the sub houses a whopping 10 tons of batteries, powering
What?
2 electric motors. This is the peak of Narco sub ingenuity. Construction costs roughly $1.5 million.
That's worth it. It's worth it because if you get 8 tons of cocaine across, that's like a fraction.
Dive planes control the
cost.
depth of the submarine. Its
Yeah.
batteries have an estimated endurance of 12 hours.
Oh, and it's
Traveling
quiet.
at
You're
5
right.
kilometers per hour, this sub could reach a travel distance of about 60 kilometers. This sub can travel neither fast nor far. But it doesn't have to. This vessel is not designed to make long journeys on its own. Do you see this little thing here? That's a towing ring. It can be attached to larger ships, allowing the Narco sub to be pulled long distances undetected. When the smugglers reach their destination or Coast Guard appears, they simply unhook and continue on their own. This sub is extremely hard to detect. In fact, it has never been found in action. Authorities have only discovered this one example in the Colombian
They
jungle,
found it while it was
but
being
there are
built.
most likely many more of them out in the water.
This is what the smugglers do.
We can infer that it's incredibly successful, just like the other. All narco submarines are statistically successful, most get through, but these ones are even harder to find and has never been seen in the wild.
This Narco sub is proof that drug smugglers continue to design new, sophisticated vessels to move drugs into profitable markets.
The trend has been towards smaller payloads, they carry less drugs than they used to, but there's more of them. And so it's really about optimizing their supply lines and getting the drugs to the market, minimizing the risks.
When the sub completes its mission, it may end up here, in a massive graveyard of Narco submarines on the ocean floor, because almost all of them are only built for a one-off trip.
That's amazing. Yeah, they just fucking drop at the bottom of the ocean.
In 2022, the reign of Oscar Moreno Ricardo, the so-called king of narco submarines, came to an end. After years of eluding authorities, he was finally arrested in a joint operation by Colombian and American authorities. His capture marks a significant victory for law enforcement, but it is far from a decisive blow. Another worthy
I'll find a
successor
new
will
one.
most likely have already taken his place. Somewhere in the depths of the Colombian jungle, a new genius is already working on the
Yeah.
next generation of narco submarines. More advanced, more sophisticated, and designed
He's
to
probably
beat the
watching
latest
the stream
tactics
right now,
of law
chat.
enforcement.
Chat. I'm scared. Chat.
Fire, 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 fire.